Okay, people, so now it is April 5th, 2021. Okay, I'm being left with not too many choices here, outside of being an abused woman with vulnerable children in my care, up against a bunch of corporate, I guess you could say, bullies, right? In terms of wanting to keep vulnerable people oppressed. So with that said, let's just get to the gist of it. So, as we can see, I had a strike. It was released on the 10th, and then they came in and they striked me again. This is YouTube. Okay? And they've done this to other people as well. I've already seen videos relating to this particular subject. And that was on June 9th, right? And the title of that was An Introduction to Israel and Variants, Just a Walking Zombie. And they listed it as medical misinformation. Okay? Without being specific as to where I was medically misguiding people for a political reason. Okay? For my own agenda. For my own profit. For my own nefarious reasons, to which none of that applies. Okay? This is me expressing myself, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, right? And how I feel about it. And then 2 weeks later, approximately, they came in and they did it again on March 25th. Just out of the blue, right? And here I'm talking about what happens to my life insurance policy while they are learning. Okay? They used an ambiguous, open, broad spectrum tag to strike me again. And they're saying that this one's not released until June of the 23rd. Okay? Now we know that if you get strikes, just one more strike will result in the permanent removal of your channel. Okay, now, like I said, they did that on purpose. Okay, we know that. So, of course, I've been using BitChute. But the problem with BitChute is pages don't play. It's a different kind of shadow banning, and I've seen other videos on BitChute related to this subject with other people experiencing the same problem, where you upload a video, sometimes it plays, sometimes it doesn't. For others, it gets to the point where it just never plays again, but it looks like it's on the server, it looks like it's going to play, right? Or maybe it might play a little bit and then it will stop. Okay, now, I've been listening to this. This is when I went to the courthouse, stop illegal organ harvesting, toe that line. Now, obviously, I can't put it up on my main channel on YouTube, right? Because, you know, they're just itching to do whatever they're itching to do. Okay, and because I was at the post office. But even if I wasn't at the post office, they can pick one word and give you a strike and say it's medical misinformation, it's this, it's that, it's this and that, and whatever it else is that they're trying to do, right? But the way BitChute does it is they just make the videos not play. And because there's somewhere in here, I was at the post office where they had music in the background. Put that up on YouTube, and chances are they're going to copy strike it for the music at the post office, right? And they're either going to mute the whole video and keep it muted, or they'll shadow ban the whole video so that it doesn't even come up on the search engine, even though it's on the server, because I have a video like that already, right? Dance Kids Dance, Surrey Stir. Or like I say, they will mute the whole video and you won't hear nothing because of a little teeny weeny clip that's in the video while I'm at the post office serving my government. So between the two, what I'm trying to say is between the two websites, I just know, I don't even feel, people, I know that I'm being severely shadow banned and isolated. Not only am I being isolated in my community with these draconian orders that is being used to create a police military state that's designed to control society. And of course you can't speak freely on YouTube, right? So what I'm trying to say to people is I think I'm going to have to put this video up on my Peeps Fashion, because nobody can watch it when you can't even access it. Okay? Like seriously, you can't even access this. I've like refreshed this page. I've come in from whatever, you know, I've come into it from this way. It may or may not play, and even if it plays, okay, yeah, it's playing. Now it's playing. So, you know, if you run into this problem where you're on BitChute and it just stops playing or it won't play, just go back in and refresh it. But, you know, most people just don't have the patience for that. And I'm just a talking point for people anyway, people. You know, people don't give me credit where credit is due. They really don't. You know, a lot of these people that are on BitChute now used to be on, what is it called, YouTube. Okay? And like, they're all just in their own little cubicles trying to get their own seniority, their own internet fame, their dollar, their donation, right? That they don't, I don't know. I'm just going to be that talking point. I'm doing the right thing by telling this story, and being that BitChute is lagging on it and it's freezing on it.
On this stuff?
Right. I think I'm going to have to put this one up on Peeps Fashion.
So, all I can think about is Shimei being with me.
But I won't put it on my main channel because, you know, I just showed you why.
Shimei was always there.
Right. They'll use a copyright at a post
When we
office
went to fight off,
to shut down my main channel.
For, Uncle John,
right.
You know, Shimei was coming with me.
So I feel like because BitChute is freezing up on the video, right? Obviously my channel is at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of that bandwidth that feeds the video, right? You know, I mean, like, to me it's just being ostracized, right? Not only in the community but online as well. So I might get a strike or something on my Peeps Fashion yet because of this, people.
Can you hear it? And it slowed itself right down. We're over the river, people.
But this is important, right? This is an official lawsuit that's been served to the government from a vulnerable family within the community of British Columbia, Canada.
It's kind of scary.
And this is what people need to start doing, rich or poor, in terms of the tyranny that's going on. Right? Some of us just feel it more than others. Some of us are more aware of it than others.
So,
right?
Looks like this business is closed.
Some of us are not so interested in
in the old good old days.
I don't know.
everybody would be out here eating. It's not a bad day. But
just
there's
talking
nothing
about
going on
something.
in the inside,
Right?
they
Some
can't
of us
serve
are
people on
actually
the
doers.
inside. They try to accommodate for the outside.
And it just seems like the doers get shut down more than the talkers. Right? You notice that? The doers get shut down more than just the talkers.
Shut down that. I'm looking for a post office. I'm just
waiting for this to freeze up again.
Sir, do you know where the courthouse is? Oh, he's got headphones.
And then you have to wait and go back in and click it back on and try and pick up where you left off in order to watch the whole video.
So I go down one block and then up, right?
Up there by the church.
Okay.
It's that street.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Yeah, look at this, people. Looks like the Old Navy is shut down. That was a pretty popular store. It doesn't even look like it's open anymore.
Okay, so now we're on March 6, 2021. Back up on BitChute here. I'm waiting for my video to play. I've been sitting here for about 8 minutes. It's just not kicking in, people. Okay, this is the one where I went to the courthouse. Stop illegal organ harvesting. Toe that line, March 31st, 2021. So I'm going to have to put this up on my Peeps Fashion channel, people. Okay, because what I'm doing here is I'm getting into my message board. I'm just mucking around here, right? This topic here is about Shimei. Lacey came in on November 10th of 2019, made a post. Okay, and then we've got, there's Lacey right there. She did a screenshot, I guess. And there's Gluten Media, that's Tommy. Alright. And then I added in yesterday the link for the video that I did, that I'm afraid to put up on my main channel, people, on YouTube. That's where it should be, but okay, so anyway, you click it on, right? I already did it.
Okay, people. So
this one's now playing, but this one, where is it? This one is not. So there's a break in there somewhere. Sometimes it plays, sometimes it doesn't. Okay? Which is a form of shadow banning, people. Okay, people, I'm like so disturbed here. I'm trying to stay positive, okay? So anyway, what I've done is I've opened up the board here a little bit. I'm trying to anyway. Keep myself busy too, right? So if you can see here, it says Ontario, it says British Columbia, and then it says Shimei. So in the last 2 days, I've posted on here. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just posting a few videos as I'm coming across them. Okay? And in this case, this is done by Rebel News. And it's a raw footage weekly Toronto Freedom Rally stops at COVID Assessment Center. So I'm watching it. Okay? Before I move on to the next video, the next state, the next province, or territory. And I'm going to post as I come across things. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to keep it kind of free-flowing without interrupting it with my own personal opinions here. But I'm watching this, and like I'm getting extremely disturbed. Okay? And I just think I should maybe end this video with what I'm watching. I'll put this on myself for a second. Because I'm going to upload this video onto my Peeps Fashion. Because I don't think I can go back to my main channel, people, until some of these strikes are gone. I'm on 2 strikes, 1 more strike. That's it. They're going to wipe out my channel. And don't forget, I've stirred up the hornet's nest, okay? In terms of, I've got a whole bunch of magnifying glasses pointed in my direction with all these various ministries within the province of British Columbia, Canada, right? Trying to figure out how they can screw me around and not be held to account to the mayhem that they've brought to my family over a period of many years. So, you know, that's hanging over my head too, right? So, using BitChute, it's a hit and miss, people. And right now, this is a very important time in my life. I mean, like who does that? Who runs off and files lawsuits against major corporations, right? Health authorities. And then, you know, do it again, but only this time go after the real big wigs in terms of government ministries, right? You know, the public attorney, you know, the solicitor, public attorney, and the public attorney. You know, those are top-notch guys. So, this is not a time for YouTube to be silencing me, okay? And I don't want to necessarily say that BitChute is shadow banning per se, as their server is not as well as YouTube, because they just don't have the financial backup in order to improve their video hosting. So, you know, when you're lower down on the grid, obviously, you know, you're only allotted so much bandwidth. And, I mean, that could be very well playing a role. But at the end of the day, people, this is not the time to be silencing a very vulnerable family. And basically, that's what YouTube is doing by making me go elsewhere. So in this situation, I'm going to upload this video after I show you what I'm watching, which really disturbs me. Okay, so much so that I feel like I have to make some kind of comment, okay? Right? It's not medical information, it's just commentary on the actions that I'm seeing fold out in front of my eyes, right? Based on people standing up for themselves, right? In light of the sign of the times. And how our federal, I don't know if Ontario has their own private policing force or if they're using the RCMP. I don't think this is RCMP, because if it was RCMP, you would see that in terms of RCMP, right? There would be something there to signify that they're actual federal employees. However, the problem with the RCMP is that the federal government offloaded a large portion of their budget onto the provinces, which then allotted out to the municipalities, which brings them down to a core group that doesn't necessarily have all the resources that they need, because states and cities see them as a drain on their main tax base, right? Because technically they're a federal entity, so they should be funded basically at a federal level, and they're not. They're only like maybe a third of their total budget, which puts the other 2/3 onto the provinces or territories and the municipalities. So it causes strain, right? And allows for corruption to find its way in. So with that said, I don't think these are RCMP. I think these are just local police within the province of Ontario, whether they're just directly related to Toronto itself, or if they're a little, you know, it's hard to say. So so what I'm watching here basically is an old man being mauled. That's what I want to show you. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching this, and then just by the way the police are swarming and mauling, okay? Mauling. Like a dog. Dogs would maul, right? A bear would maul something. I'm seeing the behavior of mauling on an individual that's basically laying on the ground helpless based on the numbers of people that swarmed him and then proceeded to maul him. And then to realize that he's an elderly man, yet to boot. I find this extremely disturbing, people, so much so that, you know, you got to toe that line. And that's what I'm doing, people. And so I'm going to put this up on Peeps Fashion, and then I'm going to upload when I serve the government. We'll see if we get a copy strike on that because of when I was at the post office. Okay? Whether they mute my whole video as a form of shadow banning, whether they delete my video as a form of shadow banning, it's still up on BitChute, but it's a hit and miss as to what you're going to get if it's going to play, or if it's going to play right through, or maybe stop halfway through, and then you have to go backtrack and try and get it to go again to finish the other half, right? But this is important stuff, okay? Either or, it doesn't matter. You know, just like these small businesses are saying that they're essential, right? They're essential to the economy. They're essential to society. They're essential to communities. They're essential to the interaction and play in between families within those communities, right? It's all intricately intertwined to where it all becomes essential. Everybody plays a role outside of maybe those that don't want to see progress, which brings me back to Gateway Place, where, you know, I'd be out doing things with the kids, right? You know, painting and building birdhouses, having a snack, playing drums, you know, having water park play, you know, all kinds of stuff I did out in the courtyard, but they were just key players that lived in that complex that somehow felt that they could lord over the other 500 people, right? And oppress them and make it so that they were uncomfortable to relax and to have fun and to grow through play, okay? To learn through play, people, okay? It's important for people to have play in order for the brain to learn properly. Our governments are taking away that innate, that natural, that intuitive, just part of being human and growing ability for people to grow people, okay? And the best way I can explain that to you, I'm kind of a little hyper, right? Can't you tell? Because this is disturbing what I'm seeing here as I'm being shadow banned with my voice, as if it's unessential, as if it's non-essential, as if it's not important, you know, right? But it is important. So the best way I can explain the innate ability for the human being to grow naturally at its own pace, regardless of whether you don't, like, regardless, okay? It doesn't matter. It's going to happen anyway, people. And I can explain it to you this way. I had 5 kids. I homeschooled all of them for one reason or another. We're not going to get into it. My biggest realization out of it, after it was all said and done, was every child was an individual that had their own abilities. And through growth, in terms of being a baby, being a toddler, being a child, being an adolescent, to being a teenager, to being an adult, a young adult, okay? Through all those, right, progressions, okay? The ability to learn came within those natural progressions to where whatever it was the individual, the child, was able to learn, basically learned it. Some were more, and this is what I'm trying to tell you here, some were more academically inclined, and academics in written form, that type of thing, mathematical formulations, scientific, right? Or reading and writing, academically inclined, the ones that had that innate ability to be more inclined to absorb that type of information more readily, it was natural, people. They didn't need to go to school to learn to read. It just was a part of them that developed naturally through the progression of their growth. Okay? Where the ones that maybe not so much academically inclined, for whatever reason, not everybody can be a brain surgeon. Some people just like to be a mechanic and work with their hands with grease and don't mind being in a shop. Okay? Right? Both are essential. Right? Those ones that more hands-on, whatever it may be, not so academically inclined, they went on to develop other skills. Okay? There is no competition between the two. What we want is the balance, where both work together, as both are essential, okay? And both will come to their maximum ability through nurture, people. The government has removed the word nurture from our society, okay? They are not allowing people to learn through play, okay? I'm just using play as an example in terms of a more relaxed learning environment. Instead, they've smothered the hippocampus, right, causing permanent long-term brain damage at a slow rate, as well as they've heightened the cortisol that's going on in the brain, which has been proven to cause post-traumatic syndrome, right? All kinds of psychological issues, right? And permanent altering of the brain through that chemical firing that's going on, right? In terms of long-term stress in the brain. That's why when children get removed from their home and go into foster care, or they grow up in environments that could be, very volatile, their brains split and sometimes split off into different personalities because of the ongoing cortisol that's raging in their head through environmental stresses, which prevents learning, which creates learning disabilities, which creates anxiety and panic attacks and depression and the fight and flight syndrome, right? Where some become more combative, others become more withdrawn, okay? So what I'm watching here, anyway, people, all right, is very disturbing because, who in their right mind mauls an elderly man? Who does that? That's not committing a crime, people. An elderly man not committing a crime, trying to stand up for their country and for their fellow man and for their family and their community, right? Okay? Like, who does that? Outside of something that's antisocial. And we have to ask ourselves, where does that anti-socialism come from? But that's not the point of this video. The point is, okay, so what happened is, you can go into this video, all right? I'll link it in, okay? And I've already put it on the message board, just for reference. I don't know. He was off riding his bike. Somehow these cops were riding their bike. Something was going on. They had an exchange of words. And then, I don't know, they were getting close to him. So fight or flight, he reached out with his hand, touched the scuff of his, jacket. And then he rode off, and they kind of rode, and then they circled him, and then they swarmed him, as you can see, right? Because they're not going to let him reach out to a cop's arm. You watch the video, right? And then ride off and think it's okay, right? The woman, this one here, was insulted that she didn't have authority over him.
So she let him right off for a second, and then, you know, through her earphones and a little mic, told her buddies, right, her buddies, to, what do you call it? Go get him. So that's where we're at in this video. Okay, so this is done by Rebel News anyway. Just so you know. We're gonna watch this, okay? Okay, do you see? Watch. Okay, I'm watching. Look at this. Look at this. And of course they gotta hide what they're doing, right? Like this is being mauled. He's being literally mauled. You can't see what's going on there. Do you know how dangerous that is for that man, people? Look at this. That's all I can think about is they're mauling him. He's an old man. Look, he's not moving around. He's not trying to. He's not. We know that they're faking the funk here, right?
Don't touch me.
I mean, we've got better ways to spend our tax dollar resources when it comes to policing people, right? Okay. Do you see? Right? The guy could have had a heart attack by now. Right? Could have snapped his neck. Okay? Right? Okay, look at that. Look. Okay, there you go. That's all I wanted you to see. Let him turn his face. Okay, look at him. That's an old man, people. That's an Uncle John. His hair is white like Uncle John. Just a little younger. That's a little younger Uncle John. Look at his face. He's all stressed out, man. Okay? He's in his, 60s going on 70s, people. Okay? He's like Uncle John. They're tackling Uncle John. Why? Why? Because he wants to ride his bike and be free? Right? You know, get a little exercise at his age? Like, who does that? And to maul him yet. That was mauling, people. So anyway, I don't want to be on the run. Okay, YouTube's got me on the fucking run here. Alright? Seriously. I don't have a choice, though. They've got me on the run basically like my government's got me on the run. Okay? Only I can't run nowhere. That's the problem. There's nowhere for me to run. Okay? And technically, I shouldn't have to run from anything. Right? You know, I don't want to get into lecturing YouTube, but if they're so concerned about what people have to say, then maybe they need to clean up their own backyard and make sure that some of this information that they promote, right, and they prop out there through their algorithms, because they're getting dollars on a ledger that says, well, if you promote our channel, because we're government, we're going to support you with this, whatever it is, however they pay for that privilege, because somebody's paying some YouTube something in order to take over the algorithm, right? To promote anti-socialism. But yet penalize those that have something to say about it. Right? And then say, we want you to be a part of our community. Okay. You want us to be a part of your community. Doesn't make any sense when you put them on the run. Right? This guy, you know, he's pushing into his 70s. If he's not 70, 71, 72, right? When you really look at him, right? He's between 68 and 72, we'll say. I mean, there's no reason to be throwing him down on the ground and mauling him for, you know, a minute at least, right? And then, right, roughing him around because he was approached by a overzealous individual who thought she was in a position of power simply because she was hired on to be a police representative. So yeah, this is private police. This has nothing to do
with the RCMP. So in this situation, we can't blame the RCMP because this is a district policing that's hired on and created by the city. Okay? This has nothing to do with the RCMP. Okay, so, you know, these buildings in the back here, probably either empty or half empty, people. Seriously. Look at the colors on this. Why we got blue? Anyway, do you see this little Canadian flag? Doesn't mean very much, does it? Right? So anyway, this is public tax dollars. Look at the number of police hired for one old man. Okay? Why does it take this many police to put one old man, an Uncle John, into a paddy wagon?
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see this? 5. Why? 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at this SWAT team. Who the hell is this? Who is this? What is that? I can't see what that says. Toronto Police. What is this? All for one man. How many did I say? 9 already? Pretty spiffy shit though, don't you think, that they're wearing? Look at this. All fashionable. Look how fashionable this is. Look at this. You tell me how this individual can work dressed up like this. Okay? How the hell can this individual breathe and run around and be so successful at it without coughing and gagging? What is this? It's my eyes, people. Where's that magnifying glass? Hold on. It's my eyes. It's comfortable something. Look how many for one individual, one man, one old man that was mauled yet. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and that's not. Those are the ones that are in the shot. 9, 10. Do you see this? It takes 10 people to put one old man into a paddy wagon? What is this? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look. Look at him. Hold on a minute, people. Okay, so I brought this up here. It's Special Constable. Special Constable. Okay? Alright? Something going on with the mask here. Okay, you can see this. Right? Look at this, people. I'm going to bring it up one more time. Right? You see the cop cars in the back. Okay? You see it right there. All these buildings that more than likely are sitting empty. Or what? Everybody's cowering inside their building? Is this a housing complex? Or is this a business complex? Which one is it? Okay? Is all these businesses doing really good back here? Or what? Okay? Like, what's going on here? It looks kind of weird, don't you think? It almost looks like a fake backdrop. Doesn't it? When you look at it. Look at it. Either or. What's inside there? Everybody cowering? Or everybody working? Or is the buildings empty? Which one? As we've got individuals like this roaming the streets, swarming, basically, right? To arrest elderly individuals, right? What is that? What do you think that is? Looks kind of weird, don't you think? Obviously, that's a vehicle. But what is that? Kind of looks like a hand. Special constable. Still can't read that. Special constable, I guess. Guess he's got it there, and I guess he's got it there. And there's another one right behind him. Okay? If something isn't wrong, I don't know what is. Right? And because they tout the Canadian flag, somehow it makes it okay. Alright? So hold on. Okay, and you know, you always got to keep an eye open for these subliminal messagings that come in off of these videos, right? Because not everybody is who they say they are. But besides that point, if you notice, we're getting into that one eye shit, okay? You can clearly see the one eye, as the other one can barely, you know, does just, right? If you really look at it, people, you can see what's going on here, okay? All right? I mean, clearly this is staged to some degree, all right? Very intimidating, you know, projecting a satanic message, right, for whatever reason. You know, I don't see where this is accountable on a policing level in terms of their mandates and their duty to the public and whatnot, right? This is very intimidating, okay? It's intimidating with the fact is you couldn't identify who this individual was even if you wanted to. And being that they're a public service, right, representing the public, doing the bidding for the public, unless of course they've got some private secret contract with the city of Toronto, being that they're a local police force, then, you know, I think this in itself, right, speaks volumes in terms of being transparent. Okay, I'm going to end it on this one because I'm not even like halfway into the video here. Well, I'm at about halfway into the video. I mean, obviously I'm doing something here, but I'm really curious to know what the hell is going on in these buildings in terms of their financial budgets and if they're meeting, you know, ends meet, right? We can see that this place is up for lease, okay? I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot more, but like it just really makes you wonder what's going on in all these buildings, right? Being that, you know, we're in this building boom in many parts of Canada where they're building stack and pack buildings that nobody can afford to live in, that are below a certain income, which is 80,000 or less, basically, right? And if you really wanted to cap it off, a couple, 2-3 years ago, the median income for British Columbia, Canada, was about $48,000 a year, which isn't enough to effectively raise a family without going into high debt, if you want to have anything outside of the very bare bone basics. Okay, so I'm just, like I said, what's going on in these buildings? Okay, because that's a lot of suites. Is everybody paying rent? And if they are, how are they paying rent? And what are they doing inside these buildings? Are they living or are they working? Right? Or how many are sitting empty? That's what I'd like to know. How many of these buildings are actually inside suite to suite to suite to suite sitting empty?